Hello, right. So today I'm going to change out this stereo head unit. Um, there's nothing necessarily wrong with this. It works well, radio works well. I can connect up to my phone with Bluetooth. Well, I've got controls here in the steering wheel. Um, but it's nice to have a big touch screen. I've had one in my old van, and I really liked it. And having sat nav up there is really handy. And then I can get rid of this old crappy thing that I use to put my phone onto for using my sat nav. So that can so that can go, and then I'm going to change. I've got an Atoto A6 Performance. I've had one of these before in my old Volkswagen transporter van, and it worked brilliantly. I really was pleased with it. So this is what I've got to replace that. So the first thing to do is to remove this trim. I've got a set of these, which is just trim removal tools. Now, for years, I've always been using screwdrivers and damaging things and so on. These fiver or something like that they cost, and I've used these so much for so many different things. They're so handy. So it's well worth investing in a set of trim removal tools. Now, and this comes off. You just get in behind it, and there's little clips in behind. So just work your way around. And a little bit of force, and off they come. And then unplug the light socket at the back there. See, it's just there. So that just needs unplugging and taking out. And then we can get it. There's extra wires here as well, which I've got in this, which are for, there's a couple of switches here which were for beacon lights, which were on the roof, which have since been taken off. Then we got 4 little Torx screws here, which need coming out. Then when you've got those 4 screws out, the whole unit can just lift out. Then here at the back, I'm trying to do this one-handed. So there's this main harness here. There's a little catch down the bottom down there, which I have to put the phone down. I can't do it one-handed. So in the box here for the Atoto unit, you've got various cables. That's for external storage, so you can plug a USB into there for more storage. Or maybe that's what that one is. I'm not sure. I'll have to go through, check what the wires are. What I'm looking for here is the main wiring harness. You've got 2 of them, because in some cars the power cable is in a different place. So you got 2 main cables there, which you go into the back of there, and then the other part goes into the bit here. So now, as you can see, that won't fit into that. So what you need to do is get a harness adapter to go from this onto that. So I've got a wiring harness here, which you can see the company there, In-Car Tech. I got this from eBay. So all right, so let's see where we go with these. So that's our bit, which should go into here. Let's get that catch down. Here we are. And then these connect up to this one. like so. And that goes into that. Let's put our ignition on. See what we got here. And we got some power, yay! I'm not sure how long this takes to boot up. And there we are. Right, so I've got an aerial lead adapter here as well. So that goes in to that. Oops. And that plugs into the antenna bit there. I think. So I'll just give it a good shove in. Right, so let's see.
In his constituency in North London, where he was challenged angry about the government's response to rising anti-Semitism and pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Sir Keir Starmer told the congregation he was there to show solidarity.
Right, so at least we know we're working.
One worship period.
So I wasn't really sure what this cable did. This was obviously plugged into the back of the old stereo, but after investigating up here, this was a little socket, a couple of sockets that were there. I think that was for that, which is the little USB socket that's there. Now I'm not going to need that now, and I'm not sure what that other little auxiliary point is for. I don't know, but what I'm going to do is I'll put that down there. I've got two USB leads here to go into the back. One is for external storage, and one is just to plug my phone directly into the stereo unit. So I'm going to bring both of those and bring them through into this plug here, and I will try and maybe fix them onto this again so I can put that back in there and have those two plugs onto this. So I'm going to give that a go. I don't think I'm ever going to need these, but I might as well just connect them up and leave them there anyway. So I've put those two USBs into the socket there, and what I'll do is I'll just push those back in there. 5i use 2s, and then I'll just feed those wires through into the back of the stereo and just leave that sitting there. It doesn't look pretty. It's going to be hit. It's not really going to be seen up there, but it's, if I ever need them, they're there. There we are. Right, and then I'll plug those in after. Okay, I'll plug into that. Right, now to put the surround back on, the new head unit doesn't fit in the aperture very well there for the that's back on there. There's a gap around the edge of it, which isn't very nice. So what I've done, let's get it tied up here. Let's put that back down there from the, I got another, just a little adapter to basically what it does is put that up there, so that will go inside that, or maybe the other way around, that way around. That goes in there, and then that stereo unit goes in over that. So that bit will bolt onto the dashboard. Then that, I'm not sure exactly how I'm doing this yet. That obviously slides into that. Then this goes, this is, see, it's too big, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to slide it underneath. The whole lot will fit in nicely, but I have to be able to, I don't want to be able to just lift out. So if we flip that over, like that. These, I've got a set of these for either side. That will attach to that, like that. Actually do it on this side so I can show you better. So that will attach on there like that, and then that could bolt onto that, and that will hold the unit then in place. So that's the way of doing it, I think. So when that sits in the dashboard, I've got 4 screws here, which is meant to secure, which should secure that in. But like I've said, that's slightly, the screen is slightly bigger than that aperture, and I can't get that around in any way. So what I think I'll do, what I'll have to do, is not bother screwing it in there, and it'll be held on then just with the clips. Yeah, so it'll be sandwiched sort of on this, and then the clips then will hold it in there. So I think that's the way I'm going to have to do it. It's not as solid as I would like, but I think it should be quite solid. I'll try that and see how solid it looks. All right, so if I loosen these off again. Okay, now get that in there. Just connect everything up again. Okay. So that's all in there now. That's the home screen for. I'm not going to go through all the details of how everything works, but basically, like, so for example, you can go into the radio there, and it's all quite self-intuitive really. You change channels there, and then you can save your channels then by just holding down onto a preset and it saves it, and so on. And then you can move all these widgets around. you've got your connection there, so that's your Android connection, so it'll connect up to your phone. I think I've got mine off at the moment. Yeah, so that's basically it then. The only thing I haven't set up my the reversing camera because I've got one here, and that works absolutely fine for me. So I haven't bothered setting it up here. The other thing is the steering wheel controls don't work. Now I think I need to get another adapter to go into the stereo as well. So I'll have a look at that and see how I can do that. But yeah, so I'm happy with that. Anyway, I've got my stereo, I've got my Spotify, my sat nav, and so that'll all work now, which I'm really pleased with. So yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Yeah, see you in the next video. Thanks, bye bye.